People fleeing Ukraine has been extended. Justice Minister Simon Harris has said that the extension will be extended for a further 12 months to March 2024. Meanwhile, Sinn Féin today accused the government of failing to engage with local communities regarding the housing of refugees. Over 73,000 Ukrainians have arrived here since Russia's invasion almost a year ago. Mary Lou MacDonald said the government ignoring the concerns of locals has led to legitimate frustrations.
The government's failure to plan and prepare is matched only with the government's failure to engage with local communities, so many of whom are already under the most extraordinary pressure. This has become now a lightning rod for the legitimate frustration of workers and families who have lived for a decade and more with the nightmare of a housing crisis.
Social Democrats TD Gary Gannon has also hit out at the government's poor communications regarding the arrival of refugees.
What is very much true is that we are not meeting our international obligations. What is definitely true, Minister, is that there is a communications deficit that has played into the hands of far-right nefarious groups who are playing off the terror existing in communities because of the absence of leadership and effective communication being shown on the part of the government. And we're failing in that regard.
And that's your news. More at 8.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Suffering from the Irish rain? Get summer sun in Italy, Portugal or Spain with Ryanair's low fares.
Tonight will be cloudy and windy. Southwesterly winds will increase strong and gusty over the northern half of the country. Outbreaks of rain and drizzle will affect most areas. However, clearer weather will follow into the northwest towards morning. A mild night with lowest temperatures of 8 to 11 degrees. Towards morning, the strongest winds will be in the east of the country. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette. Start your day in flow with the new Gillette Labs razor with exfoliating bar.
This is News Talk.
And you're very welcome along to tonight's Off the Ball. It's Richie McCormack here with you right through until 10 p.m. tonight, at least on the sports side of things, and a busy show on the way between now and then. The GAA presidency is up for grabs tomorrow night at GAA Congress. We'll assess the runners and riders with Declan Bogue up after 8 o'clock. Also after 8 and also on the Clore this weekend, Galway's minor hurlers are looking for some provincial action. They're tired of being left out in the cold, and the Galway chairman Paul Bellew will help state their case tonight after 8 o'clock here on the show. And the new League of Ireland season commences tomorrow night, a set of 4 games both in the Premier Division and the First Division to go through, and Vinnie Perth will assess the state of the league and who could possibly challenge Shamrock Rovers this season as they look to complete back-to-back championships. We've also got the small matter of live European action ongoing, and Manchester United have just gone, it would seem, 2-1 in front away to Barcelona, having fallen behind in their knockout playoff tie. We have to kind of get the terminology right around this one because it's slightly confusing. Not necessarily last 16, but it is the knockout playoff round. They'd fallen behind to a Marcus Alonso header, and now seems through a Casemiro goal, and a scrappy one at that they are now 2-1 in front. Joining me on the Newsround, delighted to say, is Cathal Mullaney. Cathal, welcome back to the studio.
Evening, Richie. How are you?
And Will O'Callaghan is also alongside me as well. Will, good evening.
Evening, lads. How you getting on?
Not too bad. I'm not going to lie. It took everything within my willpower not to go. And on the show tonight, brand new music from blah 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 blah, because I've been set in stone as regards presenting for Tom tonight.
At this point, you're effectively changed to the News Talk chair because you're going to be on for another couple of hours once it's finished.
I have been on to Amnesty International. I've made the relevant calls to the relevant people, and one day I hope to be freed from my radiator here in News Talk.
In classic style, the Manchester United goal has gone to VAR.
Well, I had to. I was looking at, like, they were running away unsure themselves of whether or not they'd scored, but they have made a habit of this over the past while, to kind of hang in matches and land knockout blows. Marcus Rashford, of course, would be the man who got their goal to level matters at the Camp Nou tonight. That after that Marcus Alonso opener just a couple of minutes beforehand, and it looks as if they're looking to get back underway here at the Camp Nou, where it is Barcelona 1, Manchester United 2. That goal has indeed been given. Yes, indeed. So it is that we're going to be keeping tabs on as well. We'll also have John Giles on tonight as well with reaction to this match. Not only that, but looking back on last night's top of the table clash between Arsenal and Manchester City, 3-1 victory for City during that one, and the Merseyside derby is also in his purview as well, and the situation at Leeds and involving Jesse Marsh. Jesse Marsh has had an interesting week. He was sacked as Leeds manager just over, I guess, a week ago now, to the consternation of Leeds fans at this stage, because they're still trying to hire a replacement. Jesse Marsh has obviously been in contact with Southampton. Southampton didn't want to give him longer than a 6-month contract, and Jesse Marsh, no short way of putting about it, told him where to go, and he's fully within his rights to do that. So Leeds still without a manager. Guess who's on the horizon?
I only know because you told me just as we were coming in.
Yes, the listeners don't know. Leaning out of his car window to put his name and indeed his hat in the ring for the Leeds United job, one Harold Redknapp.
How many times has Harry Redknapp said, my next job is my last job in football?
I think one fewer than Neil Warnock. So they're about to level up matters in that front.
We checked out where he'd been most recently.
We all presume Southampton. We all presume Southampton. I presume Southampton. We forgot about QPR. Where was he last, Will?
Jordan, and then he went to Birmingham. Do you remember that year where he was trying to keep Birmingham in the Championship, and it was a pretty short spell where he was at Birmingham. So he's actually been actively employed as recently as 2018.
Yeah, I'm told you have to change your mic. How good would it be though? Would it get Harry back in the game as well?
But I can't. Has he been linked with any jobs recently? I haven't heard his name even linked with. It's just come totally out of left field.
This is the first time. Apparently, the Mirror have reported that he is the one who has even contacted Leeds. He has put out the veritable "come and get me" plea to Leeds United to give him gainful employment through to the end of the season. And such is the stage of their managerial hunt, whereby they've had Andoni Iraola turn them down, Carlos Corberán signed a new contract extension to West Brom, Arne Slot has decided to stay on and think, do you know what, I might win an Eredivisie here with Feyenoord, I'd rather not get relegated potentially with Leeds, and that's absolutely fair enough. And now they're in a situation whereby Harry is offering himself to Leeds. It's beautiful in a way. I want to see it. I want to see it happen.
What does it say? Like, is it still not an attractive job to managers out there to manage in the Premier League? I know the situation might be difficult at the moment, but I mean, if Harry Redknapp offers himself to you, he's been out of the game since 2018.
It's all about motivating players.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unusual one to say the least. I mean, do they go for it?
I think, how bad would it look now if you're Leeds United and you've seen a story in the paper where it's like Harry Redknapp has offered himself, the man who's been out of work since 2016, you're saying, with the 2017 with the Jordan gig?
Kind of want to know, has this happened directly or indirectly? So if Harry Redknapp decides, I'm going to offer myself, does that mean his agent goes to talk to Leeds, or did Harry Redknapp literally call up Ellen Road and say, you know what, I was a terrific manager, why not take it on?
Who does he get through to? Who does he make the phone call to? Is he ringing Andrea Radriazzini? Is he ringing the secretary at Ellen Road? Is he just kind of, putting it out there that, putting like almost cosmic ordering in the same way that, Noel Edmonds has done back in the day, where he decides, if I put this out in the ether, then I will find my way back into work and I don't have to do ads anymore. I don't have to do I'm a celebrity, get me out of here anymore.
Well, you have to admire the
gumption and the modesty.
Yeah, the confidence that you need to have to do that. God, I don't know. I mean, could you imagine it happening? I mean, it's been such a strange week for Leeds, hasn't it? Because we were here on Monday morning and it was virtually set in stone at that stage that Marsh was going to take over at Southampton. And I mean, then that falls by the wayside pretty quickly. So I mean, I still think these jobs are attractive. Obviously, both clubs are in difficult positions now, but it's still the Premier League. There's still quite a chunk of the season left to go.
If you look at what, if you look at what Southampton tried to do to Jesse Marsh, are Leeds going to try and do something similar, whereby they have a 6-month deal and then a build on that if we stay up kind of thing? It's a very, very tricky thing to kind of manage, I guess.
It depends on the ambition of the manager. Like, if the manager is thinking, I actually have a much longer term plan, and I think no matter what happens, back me, even if we drop into the Championship, you're appointing me for the reason I'm going to build something here. So let's be here for the next couple of years at least. That manager's not going to be attracted. But for a manager who thinks this is a Premier League gig, Leeds are a big club, Leeds have made some interesting signings during January, probably should have enough quality, I think, to stay in the Premier League for the rest of the season. Do you not back your own ability to say, right, I'll keep them up, and then I've got a very strong hand in the contract negotiations this summer?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'll be interested to put it to John. I'd be interested to put the Redknapp story to John and see if we get an instant reaction, because I'm not sure, because this only kind of came through in the last hour or so, whether or not he's heard that one and what his reaction to it would be, or whether or not he has a dossier prepared, much like when Terry Venables was on the verge of becoming Ireland manager. Apparently,
we're going to shoot this kite down, as Dunphy said.
We are, absolutely.
Spectacularly.
What have you made of this so far, Will, by the way? The Barcelona United game. It's actually been, it's quite clearly neither club is at the level they probably have been previously and probably would want to be themselves. But it's been an entertaining contest nonetheless, as Eric Ten Hag gets a yellow card for giving lip.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the tie has swung even as it's gone on in Manchester United's favour, because Pedri, who was having a really good first half, went off injured just before half-time. Then Barcelona took the lead for all the possession they had in the first half, had created very little. Manchester United created the better chances. Both Weghorst and Sancho had chances in the first half. And then once Pedri went off, Manchester United started to come back into the game more. Marcus Alonso scores from a corner, and then after that, you would look at the Marcus Rashford goal and you would think, credit to him for taking it really quickly and shooting a cross goal and maybe catching Ter Stegen out. But Ter Stegen really should be saving at his near post. And then you saw the second goal, which was eventually bundled home by Casemiro. Varane tried to apply the finish before that. And now Barcelona are bringing in Andreas Christensen, where there was a big surprise that he didn't start for Kessie. I think Kessie has picked up an injury from a tackle. Eric Ten Hag wasn't happy with the decision to award Barcelona a free kick, and he got booked. And now Barcelona are sending on Ansu Fati as well. So they're going with a change of shape and probably feeling they have to try and get themselves at least level going into the second leg of this, what we should call a playoff tie between the two teams. Because I think you said it earlier, it could be a case of Barcelona win tonight, United win the tie. Yeah. I get the feeling without Dembele and without Pedri, it's now big time advantage Manchester United in the tie generally.
There's a man there standing over the ball who could have a say in the final outcome of this. That is Robert Lewandowski. United, apparently Barcelona, have a free kick around about 27 yards out from goal. We'll keep you posted on that, and we'll get reaction to it as well from John Giles after 7:30. But the news round is brought to you with Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day, and we'll start, Cathal, with some bad news on the injury front for the Irish rugby team.
Yeah, Tadgh Beirne set to miss the rest of the Six Nations. The Munster second row sustained an ankle injury in last weekend's win over France and was due to undergo surgery today. He's going to be out for up to 12 weeks, which will also effectively rule him out of the rest of Munster's Heineken Champions Cup campaign. The Irish defence coach Simon Easterby addressed Beirne's injury in a press briefing today.
He's headed in for an operation today, and I guess the kind of high ankle issue, which is the syndesmosis, which is going to be anything between 10 and 12 weeks out of action. So yeah, it's quite a common operation these days, and it's a procedure which a lot of players have had to go through. So hopefully the operation goes well and he's back up and running and ready to go in about 10 or 12 weeks.
Yeah, when the next cab off the rank in that respect, Will, is Ian Henderson. It's not really, you don't want to say too much of a cause for concern, because any injury like that is a cause for concern. I think the hope now for him would be that he's back up and running at full tilt by the time the World Cup rolls around, and that we can manage in terms of the second row from here on in.
It's probably a bigger blow for Munster in the grand scheme of things. With this time window, he's not going to be available for South Africa for their trip in the quarterfinals in the Champions Cup, and Beirne is such a crucial player on both sides of the ball for Munster that's a huge blow. As you say, I think Beirne has been playing very well for Ireland. He's actually meshing quite nicely with James Ryan, but when you can bring in a line and Ian Henderson to step into the second row, that cushions the blow a lot more than it will for Munster, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, some shocking news as well today, Cathal, and I guess this is an unexpected one, but huge news as regards Catherine Dane.
Yeah, she's revealed that she suffered a brain hemorrhage during an Ireland training session. The Scrum half posted on social media today to say the incident occurred 3 months ago, and Dane thanked the IRFU's medical team who were on hand to respond immediately. She also thanked Beaumont and Connolly Hospitals, Rugby Players Ireland and her family and friends for their love and support. The 26-year-old says she hopes to make a full recovery and return to work and rugby in the future.
Yeah, wish her all the best of that. An exceptionally serious issue with which to deal for Catherine Dane there. The rugby news continues, and indeed the attritional nature of the sport kind of coming to the fore again.
Yeah, Jack McGrath announcing his retirement from the game today. He was released by Ulster last year and had been battling a hip problem in recent seasons. He spent most of his career at Leinster, where he won the Heineken Champions Cup in 2018. Also made over 50 appearances for Ireland. He was part of the Six Nations winning squads of 2014 and 2015. And in addition to that, McGrath also played 3 times for the British and Irish Lions.
Yeah, fantastic player in his day. This next story is absolutely fascinating me. I was kind of all over it last night because it was developing literally as it was trying to finish up, and I saw the news from the Times that the Welsh players en masse, the Wales squad, had walked out of a charity do because it was one of their sponsors. They had the week off, they were all expected to turn up, they were there and then walked out at this event at a hotel in Cardiff. And this is all related to the terrible situation that they find themselves in, whereby there's a freeze on recruitment, there's a freeze on new contracts. A lot of players either don't know where they're going to be in 6 months' time, or are going to see their wages slashed. Either way, the outcome is not pretty, and this continues to develop almost by the hour.
Yeah, so the Welsh head coach Warren Gatland saying he fully supports his players in their ongoing contract dispute, but won't back them striking in their Six Nations match with England. There's currently a freeze, as you say, on new deals in the professional game in Wales. An agreement has yet to be reached with the regions. The squad are due to meet next week to discuss possible action ahead of that upcoming test in Cardiff. Gatland feels not playing wouldn't be the right way to make their point.
I completely support the stance that they're taking in terms of wanting to get some resolution about the issues that they have, but a lot more things at stake in terms of ensuring that fixture does take place.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to hear a WRU employee, Warren Gatland, say the strike probably isn't the best way to go about things. He's in a very difficult position because he would obviously be very close to the players and doesn't want to see them suffering either. But also the add-on to that today being, because I think Netflix people would have seen this story and would have been like, yes, something juicy to hang this next series on.
Yeah, so they were told to leave the press conference today, and I think we've all heard the rumours and the unhappiness at some camps at the presence of cameras, but it seems to be a particularly interesting point in the Welsh setup now. As you say, it would be good content from a viewer's point of view, but they're not in there at the moment.
And I think they were told as well, the Netflix producers, that they would not be able to have the cameras rolling around any of this situation either. So any discussions as regards the pay and contracts and all that kind of stuff is not going to be covered by this Netflix documentary.
So without having seen the contract that's been signed between the unions and Netflix, it's very difficult to know what access has been promised.
Yes.
But say if contractually this has been broken, with the situation with the WRU at the moment, there's 120 or 130 grand might well be quite welcome if Netflix were to get some kind of compensation for this.
Yeah, there is that kind of stuff. I think it's probably within the rights of the Welsh squads that this is an extraneous matter to events that are going on within the walls of the Six Nations, as it were. So they could probably argue that that's enough of a reason to...
And a director or editor who is very good at their job will be able to spin this quite beautifully. If they want
all you have to do is have that shot of somebody forcing a camera down, saying, no, can you please get out of this? Have a lot of intercut shots of Welsh players from weeks ago, just in moments of despondency, after a bad challenge or after a bad breakfast or whatever.
An awkward conversation taking place in the hallway. Next thing, the cameramen are being escorted out of the building effectively.
Some sinister music playing under the background. We could have worked for that TV show that framed Homer Simpson for grabbing that young babysitter.
What was that show called? Was it? I'll come back to me in a second.
It was the Simpsons version.
It was
of Hard
Rock
Copy
Bottom, wasn't it?
Rock Bottom.
There you go. That's what the one with the clock in the background.
Yeah.
Listen to the music first. She's clearly evil.
Rowdy Ronnie Peeper.
Yes,
was
indeed.
what was used against Homer.
Well, we'll leave the titles for that potential documentary out to the listeners. 53106 if you want to get in contact tonight, and you can tweet us as well at Off the Ball. I mentioned last night in the Newsround that it's been a very difficult period for Tipperary's hurlers as regards the list of injuries that are out there. Cathal Barrett is one of the ones who's in a race to be fit for the start. He's got broken shoulder blades. Paddy Caddell is a cruciate ligament. Jared Brown's done his knee as well. He's not going to be involved this season. And Niall O'Meara is in a race to be fit to face Clare in April. Another one bites the dust today.
Yeah, John Bubbles O'Dwyer has retired from inter-county hurling with Tipperary. Killinall Ford won All-Ireland titles with the county in 2016 and 2019, and he also had that free at the end of the 2014 drawn final against Kilkenny, which was ruled wide by Hawkeye. He also won an All-Star that year, 2 Munster titles and a Railway Cup medal as well during his career, so best of luck to him, but he has struggled with injury in recent seasons. And there's some live hurling on tonight as well, Richie, in the Fitzgibbon Cup. It's currently UCC, the University College Cork 215, University of Galway 117. That game into the closing stages. That's a semi-final match. And Southeast Technological University Waterford play University of Limerick in the other semi-final from 7:30. And last night UCC won the Sigerson Cup. They beat UL after extra time.
They did indeed. The Bubbles retirements, I'm always intrigued by the timings of these things. I think before the league you kind of understand, maybe you kind of get a sense of where your involvement is going to be. In the midst of a league campaign, when the championship is on the horizon, when Tipperary are in the midst of an injury crisis that might benefit a fit Bubbles O'Dwyer.
Yeah, you'd wonder what conversations taking place between Liam Cathal and Bubbles about potential game time later into this season. I think there's a very strong feeling, even with the injuries that are there, that Cathal is trying to let's say, evolve the team as opposed to a revolution by bringing in some of those players that he would have worked with previously at underage level, both minor and at under 20.
All right,
he's been very brave as well about the idea of where he's played some of his players, like putting Bream back into full back, playing Bonner-Mara at full forward. I think he has a very clear idea of where he wants the team to go. But God, if they could have the bubbles of 2016, who was almost the perfect melding of a tremendously skillful player, and he is known as the wristy hurling player's wristy hurler. That's how good he was with his wrists. A very kind of distinctive striking style that he had, where he could generate power with very little backlift with his shots as well. With also the work rate that he provided for Tipperary in that 2016 season. I think he was a big reason as to why they won the Liam McCarthy. And even in 2019, he still complemented some of the big scorers around the team with his work rate as well. But unfortunately, as Cathal mentioned, the last couple of years have not been good to him injury-wise. And I wonder as well whether Bubbles now thinks at this stage he wasn't going to get himself back into first team contention.
Always one of those players who, in my head, will be 23. And that's that's not just me getting old. It's like, I think, the type of player that he was, and that he'll always be that effervescent forward who's, as you mentioned, the wristy hurler. He'll always be like 22, 23 and a young, bright thing. As Barcelona make it 2-2 in the Camp Nou, it looks as if it is Robert Lewandowski who has gotten this goal. Rafinha with the ball out wide right, in with his left foot, and Robert Lewandowski gets a little bit of a flick on it, enough to send it past David De Gea. And this is a hell of a first leg and a hell of a tie already. I don't think
he touched that.
I don't
I'm
think
sure if he does.
I thought he did from the initial replay. No,
he's done the classic striker thing, lads, where he has gone off to claim it as if he thinks he's got a heel on it. The ball has actually gone directly in. You could say that his run has created the situation where the defenders can't block the cross, but I think that's a Rafinha goal.
That's a 100% Rafinha goal, as the UEFA graphics tell us. 1 goal in 1 match for the Brazilian. Barcelona 2, Manchester United 2. 13 minutes to go in this one. Looking forward to getting John Giles' opinion on this one after 7:30. Other games ongoing. Half of our slate of games are already towards the closing stages, Cathal.
Yeah, so they're all approaching the final 10 minutes now or so. It's goalless between Ajax and Union Berlin. It's Salzburg 0, Roma 0 and Shakhtar 2, Rennes 1. So all those games got underway at 5:45. Then Bayer Leverkusen against Monaco is one of the 8 o'clock starts. Juventus versus Nantes, Sevilla versus PSV, and Sporting against Midtjylland. All of those games underway from 8.
We've had Big Tiger's big return to the PGA Tour as well today, Cathal, at the Genesis Invitational at the Riviera. How's he getting on?
Yeah, well, he's actually teeing off shortly. He's out with Rory McIlroy later on this evening at just after 8:05, I think, is their tee time, Irish time. Matt Kuchar currently leading the field there at Riviera. 6 under par through 12 holes. He has a 2-stroke lead over the field. John Ram among the players on 4 under par. But as you say, Tiger Woods getting his season underway this evening alongside Rory McIlroy, and he says he's keen to get back onto the course and into competitive action.
I can do the Ranger Rick thing, and so I can hit golf balls and do all that stuff. It's a matter of whether I have the endurance in my leg, and we've been pushing it pretty good and been able to recover each and every day, which is great. So I'm excited about to be able to compete and play here at Riviera, where basically it all started.
Yeah, there you go. Tiger Woods, 4 minutes past the 8 o'clock is when he's out alongside Rory McIlroy. And we've also had DP World Tour action as well today, Cathal.
Yeah, so John Murphy leading the Irish contingent on 2 under par at the Thailand Classic. Gary Hurley and Tom McKibben 1 under in the lead is shared there, and 8 under par by Martin Simonson and Sami Valimaki.
Finally, big news out of Munster as well today. Not only that there is a pundit playing for them this weekend, but also they've made a signing for next season to replace Mr. Fekitoa.
Yeah, so firstly to the team news ahead of tomorrow's game against Ospreys at Thomond Park, and Simon Zebo set to make his first appearance for Munster since December in that URC match. Ulster also in action tomorrow. They've included Tom Stewart and Jacob Stockdale in their team for the trip to Glasgow Warriors. And in terms of that signing for Munster today, they've confirmed the addition of Alex Nankivell ahead of next season. The 26-year-old will join from the Chiefs on a 2-year deal, and they've also confirmed today that Stephen Archer and Dave Kilcoyne have signed contract extensions.
We just saw another chance for Barcelona tipped wide by David De Gea. Reaction to this game from John Giles has been a cracker so far.
You were thinking when David De Gea came out, he was actually in no man's land initially.
Into his own goal.
Then he committed to it and did quite well. They've been happy enough, Barcelona, to allow David De Gea to kick the ball himself during it. And in this instance, you're thinking you got to come out and clear man and ball, but his position was decent enough in the end to just get a palm on it, put it wide. This is a really exciting last 15 minutes.
It's been great entertainment. This we'll get a reaction, as I say, from John Giles after 7:30. But now, Cathal, thank you. Will, thank you.
Cheers,
cash machine time.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's Cash Machine.
We've had, count them, 2 big winners this week, and we'll be finishing the week with another, as Friday we will have a guaranteed winner. It's easy to take part in the cash machine. We're about to give you an amount, you take note of it, you enter, and if we call you and you give us the correct number, you win that amount in cash. So the cash machine amount that you need to know is €20,887.78. That's